Hi, this is Jason Nickleby, Assistant Director with the Minnesota State High School League, and this is basketball officiating training tape number 4. A few more things to consider, mostly in the memo, so check that out. And also continue to engage in the content that is shared on the Ref Masters app. We'll continue to funnel more and more plays, quiz questions, and so forth to the app. And again, when we're looking at these plays, not picking on any one team or player, official or crew, just trying to learn from these as we prepare for another week of games. So with that, let's get into the plays. Okay, in this one, I want to talk about front court coverage and primary responsibilities. So first, our positioning when we establish the ball in the front court is good. We get to exactly where we need to be. I really like our positioning at trail, nice and low. We've closed to the lane line as the lead. All of that is good. So our initial position is where we need to be. Then this play develops with a pass to the center side, and then we have an immediate drive to the basket. So the ball's not exactly settling underneath the free throw line extended. We have an immediate drive. Because this is the case, the primary responsible official for ruling on this action is the center. Because remember, unless it's involving a secondary defender contact in the paint, we're going to draw a line right down the middle of the lane, and everything to the center side is their responsibility. So in this case, we have a drive immediately right to the basket, which means as center, we're taking that all the way to the basket. And as lead, we cannot be involved in this play. We need to let center take this. If the ball ends up out of bounds, then certainly that would be our responsibility. But if we're coming across the paint to call a foul and indicate a throw-in spot on the other side of the paint, we're not looking where we should be. So, do I think this is a foul? Yes, I think it's a foul. Do I think the lead should be calling it? No, I don't. This is a play that the center needs to take. And if the center doesn't call it, they can be the one that explains it to the coach why they chose to not have a foul in this play. So just a reminder on front court positioning and primary coverage areas, and that we really need to slow down and defer to the primary coverage official to give them first crack at making a decision. Okay, in this one, we get into the front court and we're going to have an errant pass that ends up by the division line. And just be careful as the trail of taking your focus off of the court to talk to the coach. And we almost missed this one because we're trying to talk to the coach about something. And I'm all about communication with the coaches. That's all. That's all good. Just don't get caught off guard or get caught napping because we're trying to do that. But in this case, we have control established in the front court, and then the offense is the first to touch the ball in the backcourt. And when they touch the division line and the ball, that is enough for a backcourt violation. So this is properly called Rule 991, and we handle it well. Good signaling and communication. And you see that initially the trail is indicating that the throw in should be at the division line, and then as a crew, we communicate and get the throw in spot and shot clock, all of that correct. So, very well done by the crew to communicate and place the ball at the correct location. Because remember, this is a violation in the backcourt that results in a front court throw in for the opponent. So therefore, it's going to go to one of the 4 ticks. In this case, because it is nearest one of the 28-foot mark line ticks, that's where the throw-in is going to take place, and that's exactly where they do it. And then when we have a violation, again, that results in a front court throw-in for the opponent, the shot clock should be set to 20 seconds. So very well done by the crew. First, accurate call. Secondly, the communication to get the throw-in spot and shot clock correct. Okay, in this one, I primarily want to talk about front court positioning as this play develops. So, first of all, taking a look at the leads positioning, really good with the leads positioning. We should just stay put as this play is developing at the basket. Um, but center is way too high. We need to be at free throw line extended, and in many cases below the free throw line extended, because if we're that high, it's really going to take away from our angles at the basket near the block on our side. And if we're going to have two C's, fine, but we definitely do not want two trails. So let's work a lot lower as the center. And then as far as coverage area and who's responsible, remember if it's involving a secondary defender in the paint, that primary responsibility is going to fall to the lead, which is what happens here. So good with all that, but the contact that we're looking for relative to fouls, we need to make sure that there is some kind of displacement, some kind of impeding of the shot attempt. When they just play through marginal contact and it doesn't affect their rhythm, speed, balance, quickness, the shot's not affected, then we really need to err on the side of a no call. And so I would say the secondary defender that comes over rises vertically, which is completely legal. And I would say the contact by the player from behind is very minimal. So just something to consider is the contact that occurs. First of all, who initiates it? Who's responsible for initiating that contact? Secondly, does the contact affect their rhythm, speed, balance, quickness? If it does not, then it should not be a foul. So just something to consider when we're evaluating contact, whether it's legal or not. We need to put that criteria into our head, and if it does affect those things, then put air in the whistle and call the foul. On this last one, we do an outstanding job of taking the shooter up and down and picking up the shooting foul. Many times we tend to be guilty of ball watching, especially on shot attempts. And we've all been there. All of a sudden the shooter or even the defensive player is on the ground and you have no idea how that shooter got there. And you're like, oh, I might have missed something because we got guilty, of ball watching. But in this case, outstanding job as the center, seeing this play start, develop, and finish. Clearly an A to B foul, displaces the shooter, and we put air in the whistle and give this player two shots. So, also, outstanding job of working lower. It puts us in perfect position to know who's responsible for the contact. Was it incidental? Was it a defensive foul? Was it a flop? Any of those things. But this is clearly a defensive foul, displacement, and a shooting foul. So outstanding job taking the shooter up and down. The only thing I would say, just to be picky, is anytime we have a player from both teams that are near each other and there's a potential for some issues, we need to stay there until we've cleared those players. So just stay put, clear the players, and then we can go to the table and report the foul. But excellent job by the center on this play. Okay, that will do it for training tape number 4. Again, uh, asking you to review the plays and the situations that are on the Ref Masters app. We continue to try to put more content there for your review and for feedback and dialogue with the coordinators. Again, anything on memos or in training tapes that you have questions about, please reach out to a coordinator. And let's keep up the good work in our preparations as we move into the heart of the conference season. So have a great weekend. Stay healthy and safe. We'll talk to you next week.